You know
Jesus.
what? I think while we're talking about comic books, I think we have a pretty decent transition here to Corbin actually came up with a pretty good little segment for us to discuss.
I was about to give you the credit. Really, Kyle. Thank you. Okay. Well, I mean, it's February. We all know it's the second month of the year. And what's great about this month is the shortest. But the second thing that's about it, Black History Month, So I figured in the spirit of that and comics that we would just spotlight 5 comic creators. Sure, you know them, but like give some light into them in like a brief little segment. So it's history. Let's do it. Boom, boom, pal. Let's get the first picture up. Hit it, Matt. All right. So the first one, who's that? Just sly looking brother.
Suave looking motherfucker.
Isn't he looking so cool? That guy is Christopher Priest. All right. So Christopher Priest is one we're all aware of. He's written for Marvel and DC, including work on Deathstroke, Justice League, Green Lantern, and more famously Black Panther. And so he took that series, Black Panther, that had been like really lagging after Panther's Rage in the 70s and such, and he resuscitated it in like the late 90s over his 62 issue run. And so how he did that, really fleshing out T'Challa, making him more of a 3-dimensional character. And what he also did I thought was really interesting was introducing the character Everett Ross, who Priest created because he personally felt that white people wouldn't read a book with a mainly black cast in a comic unless it had a white person, a white main character with which to tell the story, to kind of use him as the lens. And so what he said he did is that he said that he used Everett Ross to portray maybe stereotypes or things about black people that white people may think in their heads but not say out loud, and
like
use that almost like an avatar. I mean, listen, I'm not talking about T'Challa or myself in that regard and our well-endowed selves, but anyways, but the way that he brought that character about and really made T'Challa someone that not only the storylines from that comic series, most of which was kind of actually branched off and used in the film, but just the way that he was picked up and used for years to come. A lot of that stems from that 90s Priest run that he did with Marvel Knights. And so a storyline I would recommend is The Enemy of the State. Storyline that's from his Black Panther run, but he also did a lot more. He worked
When did she did that start?
You know what's funny? Do not have that one written. Thank you.
Sorry.
Pulling me out there. No, it's fine. No, it's fine. I didn't write the numbers down, and I'd read it a little bit ago. I just remembered it as one that was good. But now you're gonna throw me on the spot. Now I gotta.
That's cool. That's cool. Everybody, do your homework and go find it.
I'll have it to you in the middle of the show. Anyways,
perfect.
So definitely check that out. And he worked with the guy that's next on my list in Milestone Media. And fun fact about Christopher Priest, he's actually an ordained minister because Christopher Priest. All right, let's go to the next person.
He's getting some of that little side money there, little side job in between.
There's another guy who's getting that side. He's the guy I respect for his hustle. The next guy, Dwayne McDuffie. Dwayne McDuffie's a legend, plain and simple. I mean, he's done so much for the world of comics, both behind the panel and on the panel and on the screen. And he was the one who really founded Milestone Media, along with Priest and a few other comic book greats. And Milestone Media, obviously, minority-owned and operated comic book company that focused on underrepresented minority characters. And so Static, Icon, Hardware were characters that McDuffie was directly behind. They all can be traced back to him, but he did a lot more, especially with the big two. He actually got to start in comics with Marvel, working on the title Damage Control, which I highly recommend reading. Check that out on Marvel Unlimited. It's really just about the people who clean up the messes that Marvel characters make after their big,
And they tried to make a show about it, and they messed it up. And they
feel like I saw a TV show about that.
Exactly.
But they did make a TV show about it. It ended up being different by the time it came out. But go ahead. I'm sorry, Corbin.
No, you're fine. It's fine. I would recommend just staying with the books that he did. It was really, just really funny.
What books does he have behind him? What is on his board?
He did some work with Justice League. Obviously, a lot with Damage Control. He was behind a lot of actual
Damage Control
storylines to comics in terms of Batman Beyond and things of that nature. He's more known, obviously, is what he did with Milestone. He did some
the
work
face
with
he's making is, let me get back to fucking work.
Yeah, I couldn't. I know I found some pretty serious pictures there, but a lot of the work he did with Milestone, with Static, and then bringing them into the DC universe and the crossovers he did. That was more of his writing. A lot of that outside of comics, though, would have been on TV. where, of course, Static Shock, Justice League Unlimited, Ben 10, which I wasn't aware of, but he wrote as well. He also did the movies like Justice League Doom, which was an adaptation of the Justice League Tower of Babel storyline. So that was actually the last thing he did before he passed away at 49. Just a heart procedure went wrong. But he also did All-Star Superman. He wrote the script for that movie. And then what I really like about his work was writing the epilogue story in Justice League Unlimited that wrapped up Batman Beyond, and the way that he tied it all together and put a bow on that series in the proper fashion. Because if you remember the last episode of Batman Beyond Season 3, that was just so weird. That's what I respect about him that I really liked. Fun fact, not only does he have a master's degree in physics, which, wow, but he's also, or he was the half-brother of Keegan-Michael Key of Key and Peele.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, when you got guys that are on the show that do Detroit stuff, you know we always love that. So
Yep. All right, on to the next one, bro. All right, third guy, Brian Stelfreeze, which took me a minute there. Another guy with a legendary career. He's a penciler, he's a painter, he's an inker, he's a colorist. He's worked with basically every major comic book company, and like everyone, you can expect to see like his signature painted style. I would recommend, again, I don't have a number line for this, but just check out Shadow of the Bat. Again, early to mid 90s DC Batman line, especially with the Nightfall run with Azrael and the way that he rendered him, especially once he put on his increasingly chaotic costume. Those covers to me were especially striking, and Stelfreeze was behind that. But he also worked in the early to mid 90s on the Domino miniseries with Marvel, and he's worked with Wildstorm imprint on the Matador series. So definitely check those out. Most recently, he's been doing work, or he was doing work with the Black Panther run with Tanashahi Coates. I always butcher that name. Darn it. Anyway, him. Tanashi Coates. There you go. Boom.
Once you got it, you were on point.
Darn it.
Yeah, I know. Listen, I'm sorry. That's how I feel. When I was writing my script together, I was like, should I remind myself and put like the whole tad? Nah. And I was like, nah, I'm good. And then here we are.
I'm not going to do it phonically.
hey, don't worry about it. You can join the Star Wars show where I mispronounce every name. So.
Hey, Marco, kindred spirit. I feel it. All right, next one, bro. All right. Oh, that's Paris Cullins. Yeah, so Paris Cullins, he's been, anyone read up? Got distracted. He's been an artist who worked with DC for a while. This is all the way back from when he was sending samples of his work to DC way back. Just I don't even know how long ago this was. 1976. Whole different world, y'all. Anyway, he's most well known for his work Blue Beetle, which he spent 2 years on, but he also created the character Blue Devil with writers Gary Cohn and Dan Mishkin. And so he stuck with that through the end of its run. It was like a 2-year deal. I think it was 83 to 85 if I had to like call off the top of my head. Pretty sure about that. In addition to his DC work, you all right there, bro?
No, he's dying.
Hey, man.
I forgot how to mute.
No, I'm just making sure. In addition to his DC work, Cullins also branched out. He's worked, much like our last guy, with Marvel, with Acclaim Comics, Crusade Comics, Penthouse International, which used to be called Penthouse Comics, really interesting, and then Massive Comics Group. Exactly. When I wrote that, I was like, Penthouse, beep. Anyways, let's go to our last guy. That's
the Corbin trade. Backing it up.
Wait, before you go to the next one, go back real quick and bring that one large. Bring that whole picture large of him. No, not just him, the actual picture. Yeah.
I mean, I like the beard. If you're asking who he's drawing, I couldn't.
Wonder Woman.
No, but
that is. Right.
The others, yeah, he's drawing one. But look at that sketch that he's drawing on top of. Look at that motherfucker.
That's detailed, man. That's a lot
Dude,
of work.
See how many people are in that? Like, it's,
I just saw Billy Graham's soul.
That's fire right there. But all right, I just wanted to get a closer look at that. I thought that was pretty badass.
No, it is. I'm glad you put attention to detail there because I was like, oh, Blue Devil, saw who he was. I knew he was working Blue Beetle. All right, boom. Billy Graham. It's the last one, not to be confused with the Hallelujah evangelizer. But Billy Graham was an artist best known for his work with Marvel on Luke Cage and the Black Panther. So he was actually part of the creative team that launched the original Luke Cage Hero for Hire title, and he had inked the very first issue alongside John Romita Sr. and George Tuska. And adding to that, he either inked or printed every issue of the Luke Cage book under that original title, and he carried that all the way from that title to its first issue of his transition of what we more know as the popular Luke Cage Power Man. He did the first issue of that one as well. Graham then teamed up with Don McGregor, where they basically worked on Black Panther for 3 years. That was, and I have the issues for that, from issue 6 through 24. So the years 1973 to 1976. A lot of the Panther's Rage, a lot of the rendering of Black Panther from the Jack Kirby kind of style into more of the modern Black Panther style that we kind of more or less associate with them now. There's been another shift from the 90s on, but you kind of get where I'm going in terms of 60s to more of what he is now. A lot of that was done with Graham, who really kind of grew up the Black Panther in that way. Fun fact for Graham, not only was this guy drawing comics, now it's not James Baldwin. Interesting though, Billy Graham, but I like it. But not only was he drawing comics, but he was also appearing as extras in both beer and gum commercials, and he wrote some plays. So this guy was making his money. He was in his bag while doing this work. So,
hey, did you finish that Black Panther, that Luke Cage thing? No, man, I got that beer commercial to go do. Be back at 15.
I mean, the guy, yeah, he was like a main character in this movie that like never was released. You know, like a pilot or whatever. Yeah, he was
Matt
trying to
get that feels.
Yeah,
he was trying to get it in. But that's my Black comic creator spotlight.